Good morning. This is Tech for Senior. It is episode 154. This is March the 13th, and I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. This is an hour-long program, and we have a great agenda for you today. We're going to start out with our introduction. Bob is then going to do the security news update. Bob's going to talk about scammers and using AI voice to steal your money. Mike is going to talk about charging EV batteries. Bill is going to give us tips on Windows. Bob is also tell us some uses of tin foil, not on top of your head, but actual real uses. And Ray is going to finish this with music outro. If you are listening to us and you are on YouTube, thank you for coming. If you are listening to us on YouTube Short, just click the link and it'll take you right to the show. Ray, of course, is going to finish with his music outro, and then we're going to have a Q&A. So speaking of music, if you watched the Academy Awards last night, you'll know that everyone is dancing to Naatu Naatu. So I wanted to show everyone that today, but we can't do that because of copyright problems. But I will have a link to the dance in our newsletter tomorrow. Speaking of our newsletter, those of you who like Carol Burnett and Harvey Korman and Tim Conway, I put the link. I spotlight a show a channel each week in our Saturday newsletter. And this week I spotlighted the Carol Burnett channel. And on that channel, they're playing all the clips of Carol Burnett or Tim Conway and Harvey Korman, which are so funny. They're just so funny. So a lot of people don't understand that YouTube, you can actually get old shows and movies and all that sort of stuff. So have a look at that one. Those of you who are watching the Eagle Cam that, of course, Shadow, and I can't remember the other eagle's name. And I showed you a picture of that a couple of weeks ago where the mom was on the nest with those two eggs. And of course, she was covered in snow. I think got fed up with motherhood and just took off for a couple of days and left those eggs open. And unfortunately, there's a comment that whether those eggs were actually fertilized and whether they were actually going to produce chicks or not. Anyway, the crows came in and ate the eggs. So I think Anne-Marie was watching that as well with me on that cam. That was another one that we featured on our Saturday newsletter. Anyway, we have a great show. We're going to be moving on after the show, and we have our premiere video today for you. And it's a great one. Dewey Clues, remember Dewey was last year. He's going to be talking on HDMI cables. Huey's going to talk on your Wi-Fi passwords. And I'm going to talk on why is your internet so slow. So I'll be putting the link to that premiere video in the chat soon. And you can watch that. If you are on our Saturday newsletter, you will, of course, have seen the link and you can use that. That's great. I want to thank everyone for coming today. And Huey, you had a big day yesterday.
Well, yeah, sure did. We had the Windows Special Interest Group, a monthly meeting. We had a good crowd. A lot of the people that are here were there. Excuse me. And it was a long meeting, but we covered a lot of material. Excuse me. And then the main meeting of CFCS is on the same link, and we had it right after the Windows SIG. And Bob G talked about AI, and it was it went on and on because there were so many questions. It was a good presentation. I think it was probably the first one, the full one that Bob's done, maybe a second one. But it's he's got to update it all the time because it's changing so much. But it was very well done, very well received.
Excellent. And Bob was the featured speaker as well.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys did a good show. Thank you again for all those people who contributed to our finances and help us pay the bill. Last week, we had a donation from Diane Binder. Thank you, Diane. I will put the link in the chat, and you can, if you wish to help us pay the bills, you can certainly do that by clicking the link and supporting us. Bob, tell us what's happening in your world. Can you still talk after all that talking you did yesterday? Is your voice?
It was a excellent meeting yesterday. As I said earlier, the questions took more time than the presentation itself, even though the presentation was just about an hour. But it also required input from the club itself, which is always nice when you can demonstrate things firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
Hot topic. I already have many bookings on that same topic.
Right.
And you're right, Huey, it changes almost daily.
Yeah.
I have one club that wanted me for January of next year. And I said, by January of next year, what I'm doing right now won't apply anymore. Things will have changed totally by then.
And Ray, sorry.
I'm doing a presentation for the Rochester Computer Society tomorrow on browsers. And I went through the one that I had. I've got to change it all because of all this new stuff that's come out with AI.
Right. Ray, did you get all your stuff shoveled and all that snow gone, or what's happening?
No, we had snow every week for the month of February. Not a lot, 4 to 6 inches, but I'm proud to say I never picked up a shovel. I let
you have the
nature take
wait
care
and
of it.
see approach. Excellent.
So, yeah, so it's all gone now. Yesterday the temperature was in the low 60s. Just beautiful weather now.
Beautiful weather. And Bill James, you're going to do a tip on Windows today.
I am. I'm excited about that.
Very good. Excellent. We look forward to that. And then, of course, Mike Ungerman is the star of the show today. He's sitting there smiling. Tells me that he's not charging today because the weather's not so good, right, Mike?
Well, when we started this discussion earlier today, it was cloudy and raining, but I guess it's a swift moving front. I'm actually showing that I'm producing some money again today.
Well, we look forward to your presentation today. You're probably all wondering when I'm getting my car. It is here at the dealership, and I will be picking it up on Friday. So more about that next week. And I'll tell you all about EV charge. Well, I'll tell you all about electrification. So that's great. I think what we're going to do, Chris, did you have a quick comment or your hand went up? Okay.
That's a thumbs up, not
No, that was just a thumbs up.
A thumbs up. Oh, I
car. Yeah, cool.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, great. Bob, I think we'll get going. We have a big show today. Let's take it away. And
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending March 10th, 2023. Google is giving VPN access to every Google One subscriber. Beginning today and rolling out over the next few weeks, Google One members starting at the $2 a month basic tier will have access to Google's VPN features through Android, Windows, Mac, and iOS. Google VPN is helpful if you need to hop onto the net from another IP or if you're sleuthing on your phone and want to avoid your employer peeping in on your browsing activity. The only bummer is that it doesn't offer the fine-tuned settings you get with a service like ExpressVPN or the Avast Secure Line VPN, which lets you connect through an entirely different country, which is helpful for watching Netflix in other regions. It's worth noting that your Google account still tracks your data as you move between websites. Read more at gizmodo.com. 160 gigabyte of Acer data is now available for sale on the dark web. Taiwan-based Acer Inc. confirmed a security breach today after a 160 gigabyte data dump of Acer data was offered on an underground forum. The breach, which appears to have occurred in February 2023, does not involve customer data, according to Acer. Bleeping Computer says that it contacted Acer for a statement and that it received the following reply from the company. We have recently detected an incident of unauthorized access to one of our document servers for repair technicians. While our investigation is ongoing, there is currently no indication that any customer data was stolen on that server. According to the information, the threat actor managed to gain access to a document server that Acer repair technicians use. This would explain why the attacker could not download customer data from the server. Read more at ghacks.net. YouTube gives the green light to strong language. YouTube has declared a relaxation of its continuous profanity regulations that were instituted toward the end of 2022. The company's recent statement revealed that the rules resulted in a more rigorous approach than initially planned. The updated policy now sanctions content creators to employ moderate and robust profanity without the risk of demonetization. YouTube has made further amendments to its rules, as previously announced in January. The new changes allow creators to qualify for some ads, even when their videos feature strong profanity in the initial seconds. In my opinion, this only degrades the quality of the YouTube channel. You will not find any profanity on my channel. Read more at ghacks.net. U.S. House of Representatives impacted by health insurance data breach. Sensitive information for members of Congress and their staff and family members has been exposed in a data breach, according to House leaders. The FBI was able to purchase leaked information from health insurance marketplace DC Health Link on the dark web. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries wrote in a letter. The data includes the names of enrollees, spouses, dependent children, social security numbers, and home addresses, according to the letter. This breach significantly increases the risk that members, staff, and their families will experience identity theft, financial crimes, and physical threats. It's already an ongoing concern, it reads. Read more at engadget.com. U.S. airports now have software to prevent aircraft from landing on taxiways by mistake. Pilots have to worry about more than just mid-flight crashes and bad weather. They also risk a collision if they land on the taxiway instead of the runway. Thankfully, they now have a digital safeguard. The Federal Aviation Administration tells Axios that 43 major U.S. airports are now using ASDE-X taxiway arrival prediction, a software platform that warns air traffic controllers if an aircraft is lined up to land on a taxiway by mistake. An aviator shouldn't endanger lives on the ground simply because they're inexperienced or fatigued. Read more at engadget.com. How the FBI proved a remote admin tool was actually malware. On Thursday, the U.S. government announced that it had seized a website used to sell malware designed to spy on computers and cell phones. The malware is called NetWire, and for years several cybersecurity companies and at least one government agency have written reports detailing how hackers were using the malware. While NetWire was also reportedly advertised on hacking forums, the malware owners marketed it on a website that made it look like it was a legitimate remote administration tool. Read more at TechCrunch.com. Microsoft 365's newest assistant will point out when you make stuff less accessible. The new Accessibility Assistant for Microsoft 365 Office software is like a spelling or grammar checking tool that will instruct users on how to prevent and correct accessibility issues in real time when creating content. A new person-shaped icon will be used to flag the location of accessibility issues across your work, such as low contrast between text and background. That's the most frequent accessibility issue that occurs in Word documents, according to Microsoft. The Accessibility Assistant will begin rolling out in the coming weeks and will eventually replace Microsoft 365's current accessibility checker. Read more at theverge.com. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. Read Avast's announcement about the release of Avast One Platinum. This comprehensive package offers greater protection from new and evolving threats, as well as 24/7 premium technical support for IT issues around the home. Read the article at the link listed. Did you know? When Disneyland was opened in 1955, Tomorrowland was designed to look like a year in the distant future, 1986. ℍ𝕠𝕠𝕟, the largest known flying animal ever, was as tall as a giraffe. It may have used its powerful forelimbs to pole vault into the sky. Frederick Bauer invented the Pringles can, and when he passed away in 2008, his ashes were buried in one. Retailer Circuit City founded used car dealer CarMax. My 2003 Buick actually came from a CarMax dealer. Just thought you might want to know. That wraps up another week of the Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye. Only you don't get rid of me that fast. Ten who knew uses for aluminum foil. Thanks to Lauren Pyro for her excellent article and the inspiration for this video. You'll find her article on good housekeeping at the link listed. Aluminum foil is handy for much more than just wrapping leftovers. You already know that aluminum foil is a kitchen must-have, but its pliable metallic structure makes it super useful all over the house. Here's why you should stock up. Line cabinets and drawers. Not only is the foil easy to clean with a damp sponge, but it will help reflect light in a cabinet's dark corners. Polish silverware. This nifty trick, which is a chemical reaction, causes tarnish to transfer from your silver flatware to the aluminum foil. Line a plastic bin with foil, shiny side up, and place the silver pieces inside. Pour in a 1/4 cup washing soda and a gallon of boiling water. Stir and let soak for 10 to 15 minutes. Use it to clean the grill. A ball of foil makes quick work of degunking a grill of any burnt-on barbecue leftovers. Protect the pie crust. Worried about burning your famous apple pie? Cover the edges with a ring cut out of aluminum foil to keep the crust from getting too brown. Scrub dishes. Like steel wool, a ball of aluminum foil can help clean cookware and give a good scrub, like glass casserole dishes or cast iron skillets. Scare away birds. Chances are you love seeing brightly colored feathered friends around the garden, but if you have a fruit tree, you might not want birds feasting on your bounty. Move heavy furniture. Wrap the feet of your couch in a few layers of heavy-duty foil to help scoot it across carpeting, but avoid using this trick on delicate surfaces or furniture that the foil could scratch. Iron clothes faster. Aluminum foil reflects heat, so try placing a sheet under your ironing board cover to smooth wrinkles a bit faster. Make a funnel. In a pinch, create a makeshift funnel which you can even bend to fit in tight spaces out of a piece of foil fashioned into a cone. Soften hard sugar. When a recipe calls for a tablespoon of brown sugar, but you'd need a chisel to carve it out, a little heat can help. Wrap the brown sugar in a piece of aluminum foil and toss it in a 350-degree oven for about 5 minutes. Even though the price of aluminum foil has gone up in price, and what hasn't, it's still worth having plenty on hand just in case you need it. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye, and thanks for watching.
Well, thanks, Bob. I'm going to head up and get my foil out.
Always time to learn something new.
Excellent, excellent. All right, let's get on and see what Mike has to say about charging EV batteries.
Hi, I'm Mike Ungerman of the Central Florida Computer Society. Today we'll continue with the fifth in a series on electric vehicles. In our previous presentations, we reviewed the technology of electric vehicles, EVs, consisting of hybrid electric vehicles, HEVs, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, PHEVs, and pure battery-powered electric vehicles, BEVs. And we've also looked at the technology of the batteries that power them all. Today, we're going to start to take a look at how EV batteries are charged. Hybrid electric vehicles charge their battery using energy from regenerative braking and deceleration, as well as a portion of the excess energy generated from a gasoline engine. The deceleration and regenerative braking technology is used in all EVs. This diagram incorporates most of the currently used methods of charging PHEVs and BEVs. They may be categorized as one of two methods: home or portable charging, and public or commercial charging. All EVs that can be charged use a charging scheme similar to this one. Charging methods are defined as level 1, 2, or 3. Level 1 and 2 are AC charging, with the EV's charger converting AC to DC for their batteries. Level 3 is DC charging only, with the EV's battery management system, BMS, adjusting voltage and current as necessary. Let's look at level 1 charging. It's accomplished with a unit designed for at-home charging or anywhere you can connect to a local AC outlet. Most EVs come standard with a charger, in quotes, like this one, but some manufacturers require you to purchase your own. In the US, the unit is designed for 110 to 120 volts AC. In other countries, it can be 220 volts if the controller is dual voltage. The connector that connects to the car is a J1772 connector, and it's designed for most EVs. However, Teslas come with their own connector or require an adapter. Level 1 charging is typically used for overnight charging. It can take from 12 to 20 hours to fully charge a typical BEV with this method. This is the level 1 charging cable that came with my Kia Niro
PHEV. I can fully charge my ℕ battery in 9 hours. Level 2 chargers can be home, portable, or public and commercial. They're all AC chargers. Home chargers will require a 220 to 240 volts AC outlet to be installed or wired direct to your electrical service panel. Public level 2 chargers can be free, provided by government or companies, or they can be in a commercial network. Level 2 charging can typically charge an electric vehicle from 0% to 100% in 4 to 8 hours, depending on the battery capacity of the vehicle and the charging capacity of the charger. This is the level 2 charging unit that I purchased from Amazon. I had an electrician install a 240 volt outlet for me near the door to my garage. I can fully charge my ℕ PHEV's battery in approximately 2 hours for about 26 miles of pure EV driving before the hybrid mode of the car kicks in. Level 3 charging is accomplished through commercial installations of DC high-powered chargers, usually in charging networks. Tesla provides their own supercharger networks designed initially for only Tesla vehicles, but recently they're expanding to include other EVs. Some large companies have installed their own level 3 chargers, but most charging facilities in the US and Canada are part of a charging network, which I plan to discuss in a future presentation. DC fast charging is the fastest method of charging an electric vehicle. Some vehicles can be charged up to 80% in just 30 minutes. It's typically recommended to start charging your EV at 20% capacity and stop charging at 80%, as the last 80% to 100% can take a considerable amount of time without a corresponding benefit in range or driving time. So you might ask, why charge your EV if you could easily replace your battery when it needs recharging? That's actually the premise of at least one EV manufacturer who plans on installing replacement stations for drive-in, quick, approximately 15 minutes, automated replacement. You'd purchase your EV without purchasing a battery. Purchase a battery subscription instead and save thousands of dollars up front. The specifications of the EV with this plan are estimated for a range of from 250 to 300 plus miles, doing a typical battery exchange. If you're a low mileage urban driver, a single battery pack could provide weeks of urban driving before having to swap out. A Chinese EV, a NIO, has the vehicles and infrastructure available now in Norway. Let's take a quick look at some screenshots I took from a video showing a NIO swap station in Oslo, Norway. I'll zoom in on some of these pictures so you can see them better. Here we have the NIO car parked in a designated parking spot outside the entrance to the exchange station. Inside the car on his display, you can see that it's showing that he should park exactly in this location and then switch to his app and let the automated system control his car entering the facility and charge. It'll be a hands-off operation for the driver. Here's what the station looks like. These 4 locators is where his tires will be, and notice they have rollers so that the car can be positioned sideways and get it directly over the opening in the floor. This door will go to the left, this door will go to the right. the old battery will be removed from the car and moved to the right. The new battery will come out of this facility, drop down, be slid into this area, and installed in the car. Normally, you would not see this, but the manager of the station opened up the doors for the videographer so he could actually see the methodology below the floor, where the old battery is going to be taken out and go to the right, and the new battery is going to come in from the left and be positioned to enter into the car. Here, the car has been positioned and centered, and the jacking mechanism has come up from the floor to raise the body of the car several inches for clearance purposes. The jacking mechanism has actually taken the extractors, moved them up to where the battery was located, unscrewed the retaining bolts, and then the battery is actually now being lowered down into the center of the facility. Once again, the new battery is placed on this mechanism, and it then raises to raise the unit up or raise the car up. And here you can see the battery coming up out of the storage facility and being installed in the car. This screenshot shows the completed operation. The car is done and will shortly drive out of the facility. And on the internal screen, you can see that his new battery has been installed with an estimated range of 450 kilometers and a 90% charge level. And here's our happy driver pulling out of the facility, ready to go on his way. I did mention that that was one of my YouTube videos that's on my playlists. And as I researched YouTube videos supporting technology, I added them to several playlists to share with our viewers. These are active lists with videos relating to today's presentation at the top of each list, and the rest in reverse chronological order. The complete video of the Neo battery swap is also posted to review. I will update these playlists as I discover new videos. Feel free to browse them at your leisure. Take note that the videos have a bit.ly link from my presentation to make it easier to get to them instead of the complex YouTube URL. I have an EV charging overall YouTube playlist, which is bit.ly/Mike's-EV-charging. Note the capital letters, they're required. And this is an overall playlist on EV charging. I then specialized in a home and a public playlist, each one containing videos relating to home or portable, and public relating to commercial charging. So the second playlist is bit.ly Mike's-EV-charging-home, and the third playlist is bit.ly Mike's-EV-charging-public. I have created a website as a reference for all of my EV playlists to date. I've asked Ron to include the URL for that site in periodic Tech for Senior newsletters, and I'll be updating that as this presentation completes. EV charging may be one of the most important decision factors in your decision to own an EV if you don't already have one. My next presentations will expand on the charging technology for your prospective EV, including more detail on charging at home and installing charging points, normally done by an electrician, but some you may want to take the challenge and do it yourself. And then a fairly extensive presentation on charging at commercial charging stations using network accounts and the appropriate mobile apps for controlling the charging process and checking the status. Ron says that I always have a smile on my face when the sun is shining here in Florida. Well, it's because I have a solar PV system on my roof, which produces more electrical energy than my home consumes on sunny days. This is a Sense power meter, and it's installed in my outside panel, and then I can see this screen on an app or on my computer. It shows my solar energy production, which is this rising yellow shaded or orange shaded range. And it's showing that it's in excess of my home's requirements, which are shown by the red, showing the energy that I'm consuming. Got to address those peaks here, which I think is my wife's coffee pot. But notice the start of EV charging on this particular sunny day. Up until this time, all this excess energy was going back to my utility. Now my PHEV starts charging with its level 2 charger, and it's using a considerable amount of current, but for me, it's below the amount that I'm producing, and I'm still sending energy back to the utility, and I'm making money while the sun shines.
Just
And I'm smiling again, Ron.
what's that?
And I'm smiling again.
I know. You're just such a happy guy. I just can't believe it. I'm sure there will be, Mike, I'm sure there will be lots of questions, but we're going to leave those for the Q&A. Is that okay? You'll stick around for the
Yep.
Q&A? Great. I have a few questions as well. All right. Bill James. Now, before you move off, Bill, and and become an expert on Apple, can you give us a few hints on Windows tips?
Be glad to.
You're not going to abandon us now, are you?
No. I have 3 tips for you this morning. Press pause for updates, kill an unresponsive program, and last, Microsoft Windows Quick Assist. We all know updates are important. They give your operating system the latest features, security patches, and more. But sometimes you just want Windows to leave you alone without those incessant pop-ups. To do this, you want to go to Settings, Updates, and Security, Windows Update, and Windows Update, and you can pause upcoming feature updates. Home and Pro users will have different options, but here's the rundown. You have a few options for delaying updates, big and small. The most basic way to delay any updates is to place a 7-day pause on them, which you can do from Settings. Windows 10 users should open up to Update and Security, Windows Update, while Windows 11 will let you open directly to Windows Update from the Start menu. If you're not yet ready to update your machine, you want to click the Pause Update for 7 days button. On Windows 11, it says Pause for 1 week. This will change the Check for Updates button to Resume Updates. Windows will also display when updates will resume again. Windows 10 users can also click Advanced Options and pause updates until it's for a specific date. You can do this for up to 35 days. Note, you can only pause updates past 7 days if you're not signed up for the Windows Insider program. But here's another alternative. If instead of pausing updates, you might want to simply tell Windows when it should install updates by changing your active hours. In Windows 10, you'll open Settings, Updates and Security, Windows Update, and then click Change Active Hours to set when updates should not be installed. You have the option to let Windows adjust active hours automatically based on your specific activity. If you don't want to do this, just click Change to set a custom start time and end time. For Windows 11 users, you can go to Windows Update Advanced Options and open the Active Hours dropdown. Set Adjust Active Hours to automatically to change active hours based on your specific activities. You also can set it to manually to set a custom start and end time. Once active hours are set, no updates will be installed during that time so as not to disturb you. Of course, updates will still be installed after hours if you leave your machine on and in sleep mode. So this is more for convenience rather than a solution to any performance issues you may experience. Having problems with unresponsive programs. When a program or app is not responding, you can either force quit or close the application. Typically, Windows tries to safely close or recover the program just so that you don't lose any potential unsaved work or data. However, if Windows is taking too long, or if the program is using up all the system resources, you can manually force quit the app. There are a variety of ways to do this, rebooting or shutting down your machine. However, a more elegant way to kill a process, program, or force quit an application is using Task Manager. So without further ado, let's look at the steps to force quit app or programs in Windows 10 or 11 using Task Manager. You might note that the appearance of the Task Manager has changed in Windows 11 with the 22H2 update, but the process we describe here will be the same. Task Manager provides a simple way to quickly force quit or kill a non-responding program or app. And here are the steps you should follow. Right-click on the taskbar. Windows 11 22H2 update now allows access to the Task Manager from the taskbar. Here you find and select the process you want to end. If the process is not the responding state, you will see not responding next to the process name. After selecting the process, click on End Task button. If you see a warning message, click on OK and close the Task Manager. If after you click End Task and the program doesn't close, click the End Task button a couple more times and wait until a window message comes up letting you know that the program is not responding, and click Close the program as many times as the message appears. Note, when a program becomes unresponsive and you close it, you may lose all your unsaved data. Once closed, the program should be ready to start over. In case that the program crashes again, you can repeat these instructions one more time. But if this does not fix it, restart your computer. You can also try to check for updates. The program could have a bug and a new update with a fix could be available, and also check for Windows updates as well. When you need to help a friend or a family member, try using Microsoft Quick Assist. It's a remote assistance tool that allows a trusted person to access and control your computer remotely to help you troubleshooting issues or perform tasks. It comes pre-installed with Windows 10 and 11 and allows you to provide or receive remote assistance without the need of any additional software. There are several reasons why you might want to use Quick Assist. One, technical issues. Computers can be complex, and it's not uncommon for users to experience technical problems that they can't resolve on their own and need outside assistance. Maybe distance is a problem. In some situations, the person who can best help with a technical problem may not be in the same location as the person experiencing the issue. Quick Assist makes it easy for someone to provide remote assistance from anywhere in the world. It's also time-saving. Quick Assist can save time by allowing someone to remotely access and control the computer rather than having to walk the user through each step of a troubleshooting process over the phone or via email. It's also convenient. Quick Assist comes pre-installed on Windows 10 and 11, so there's no need to install additional software. It's a simple and convenient way to get remote assistance without the need for complex setup or configuration. To use Quick Assist, both the person providing assistance and the person receiving assistance need to have a Windows 10 or 11 device with a working internet connection. The person providing assistance generates a unique code that the person receiving assistance enters into their Quick Assist application to establish a secure remote connection. Note, you may be prompted to update Quick Assist if you have not used it. Once the connection is established, the person providing assistance can see and control the desktop of the person receiving assistance and can perform tasks such as running diagnostic tools, installing or updating software, and adjusting settings. Quick Assist is a convenient tool for remote collaboration and support, particularly for individuals and small businesses that do not have a dedicated IT staff. Microsoft Quick Assist is a helpful tool that can save time, reduce frustration, and make it easier for people to get the technical help they need. And that's our Windows tips. I'm Bill James, Tech for Seniors.
Thanks, Bill. That's good information. Excellent. Mike or Greg, we're going to hold the questions till quick Q&A, okay? And we'll get to your questions soon. All right, we're going to finish, well, not finish up quite yet, but I think Bob has another segment for us. Bob, do you want to take it away?
Scammers are using AI voices to steal millions by impersonating loved ones. Credit for the information in this video belongs to Ryan McNeil for his article in Android Authority. Read his article by following the link listed. Over 5,000 victims were conned out of their money through the phone in 2022. AI voice-generating software is allowing scammers to mimic the voice of loved ones. These impersonations have led to people being scammed out of 11 million over the phone in 2022. And the elderly make up a majority of those who are targeted. AI has been a central topic in the tech world for a while now, as Microsoft continues to infuse its products with ChatGPT, and Google attempts to keep up by pushing out its own AI products. While AI has the potential to do some genuinely impressive stuff, like generating images based on a single line of text, we're starting to see more of the downside of the barely regulated technology. The latest example of this is AI voice generators being used to scam people out of their money. AI voice generation software has been making a lot of headlines as of late, mostly for stealing the voices of voice actors. Initially, all that was required was a few sentences for the software to convincingly reproduce the sound and tone of the speaker. Technology has since evolved to the point where just a few seconds of dialogue is enough to accurately mimic someone. One story that stood out involved an elderly couple who sent over $15,000 through a Bitcoin terminal to a scammer after believing they had talked to their son. The AI voice had convinced the couple that their son was in legal trouble after killing a U.S. diplomat in a car accident. Like with the victims in this story, these attacks appear to mostly target the elderly. This comes as no surprise, as the elderly are among the most vulnerable when it comes to financial scams. Unfortunately, the courts have not yet made a decision on whether companies can be held liable for harm caused by AI voice generators or other forms of AI technology. It's becoming a dangerous world out there. Trust but verify needs to be the new rule. When AI can write convincing script, turn it into a convincing video, and generate a voice that's indistinguishable from the real person's voice, you can no longer simply assume that what you see or hear is real. Please verify independently by contacting the source. Stay safe, stay secure. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye, and thanks for watching.
Whoa, that's getting pretty scary, eh, Bob?
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Indeed.
AI has its good side, and unfortunately, AI also has its bad side.
Right. Okay, well, listen, we're going to move on now. I want to thank everyone over on YouTube for listening to our show today. We have room in our Zoom meeting if you want to pop over to the Zoom. We're going to end our YouTube feed now, and we'll hopefully see you again next week. Don't forget about our premiere version that I put in the chat if you want to come back at hour and watch it. So I'm going to stop that, Ray, and I'll let you get ready to get going.
So Bob had really gave us a little scare with that presentation there. I'm going to take us back to a simpler time. Songs that are standards, and today a little focus on Fred Astaire. Now, it's quite common in the industry of recorded music for a song that was a hit at one time to be recorded later by another singer or band. Today we call them cover records. But the initial meaning of this term was when the original song was still climbing the charts, the cover of the same song was released so as to compete for sales. Think of Pat Boone covering Little Richard. Maybe again, don't think of that. Songs that have been recorded by multiple singers over time are what we call standards. One of my favorites is The Way You Look Tonight from the film Swing Time, that was performed by Fred Astaire and composed by Jerome Kern with lyrics written by Dorothy Fields. It won the Academy Award. We had the versions last night, but this won the Academy Award for Best Original Song in 1936. Now, in the movie, Astaire sang The Way You Look Tonight to Ginger Rogers while she was washing her hair in an adjacent room. Astaire's recording was a top seller in 1936. Other versions that year were by Guy Lombardo and Billie Holiday. Over the years, this song has been recorded by Benny Goodman with Peggy Lee on vocals, the Dave Brubeck Quartet, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, and the Lettermen, with their side reaching number 3 on the pop charts. Other recorded versions by singers you might not associate this song with include Olivia Newton-John, Phil Collins, Rod Stewart, and Gloria Estefan. Now, my personal favorite is by the Jaguars, a Los Angeles interracial teenage quartet. They actually met when they were in high school. That was only a regional hit when it was first released in 1956. But 3 years later, the song was included on the very first Oldies But Goodies LP, where it was able to garner national attention. And today is a favorite for folks like me who collect this genre. One of the group members, second tenor Val Pagliuto, was someone I got to know when I lived in Southern California, and sadly, I just learned he passed away earlier this month. So today's clip is dedicated to Val. It's from the aforementioned film Swing Time, with the original recording by Fred Astaire. And the links below are going to be for this movie version, as well as I'm going to give you the link if you want to hear what the Jaguars sounded like. Times were certainly simpler then.
Well done, Ray. Well done. All right. I guess, wow, it's a It's almost top of the hour. We're another week has gone by, another show has gone by. Thank you for watching with us today. If you want to stay, we're going to start the Q&A now, and followed by that will be the premiere video, where of course Dewey's going to be talking about HDMI cables, ports demystified, and Huey's going to tell you how to see your Wi-Fi passwords. And if your internet just isn't going very fast, I'll tell you how to correct that. And in my presentation, why is your internet so slow? And that will be at the premiere version at 1:30. We will, of course, have, I want to remind everybody about our Thursday show this week. This week, we're going to be talking about a new article that came out this morning that said Walmart is passing Amazon in online sales. What do you think about online sales, and would you buy from Walmart? So this is the topic we'll be discussing, and all the tech news of the week this Thursday on Tech for Senior Live. All right, let's get into the Q&A. If you do have a question, and I have a couple of questions as well, we'll get you to raise your hand, and that will put them in order. First on the list, I guess, is Greg. Greg, go ahead.
Hey, this question is from Mike Underman. Great presentation. My question is, if we travel and we're out of the area, let's say we go to a hotel, do they plug your car in for you? How does that work?
Well, you said they, so put they in quotes. No.
The hotel.
Yeah, you in quotes. I have been to some hotels with parking garages that do have level 2 commercial stations, and you pull in, in their garage, and there'll probably be a sign there that says, please don't use for more than 2 hours or something like that. And it's sort of on the honor system. I have yet to go to a hotel that has a level 3 commercial station that can charge in a half hour.
Okay, my second question is, and I'm not too computer smart, but kind of smart. If you leave the car on the charger, does it damage the batteries, or is there a shut off that'll automatically shut it off?
No, it doesn't damage the batteries. Yes, there are shut-offs. And as I stated in one of the slides, it's recommended to only charge to 80%, which you can actually set up in your car. You can say it, how high do you want to charge it to? It's just, good charging manners not to charge more than 80%, because there's probably a bunch of people waiting to get on the charger anyway. And that last 20% could take another half hour, 45 minutes. So you really want to charge, if you're on a level 3 charger, you want to charge for about a half hour and get up to your 80% and then move on.
Thanks, Mike.
Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, I was checking to see if my mic was on. A couple of things. Well, first of all, I was going to make 3 comments. The first one is congratulating Mike on keeping us all up to date. I'm an electrical engineer, and I'm fascinated by all the electronics and electrical innovation going on in that field of electrical cars. But the other thing Bob reminded me of something that he was talking about elderly getting scammed. And, it's really weird when I realize I'm part of the elderly.
All of us here, most of us here.
I'm making those videos, and I am one of the elderly.
Yeah, it's really weird. You feel like you're out of body. It's like you're talking about somebody and you think, wait a minute, I am that.
Yep. And you realize it every morning when you get in front of the mirror.
The other thing is that as I've gotten older, I've become more observant, and I don't know why, but I was watching that Bob's Ray's video with Fred Astaire, and I was thinking, wow, things have really changed. Now I know why my parents stayed together, married all these years. The first time I heard a woman say, well, wait a minute, I might be wrong. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Carl. I have 2 questions, one for Mike Mike, level 2 chargers that you purchase for your home, are they all this? I know Tesla's different, but are all the other level 2 chargers the same? And the reason I'm asking that is if you do get your plug-in hybrid, or if you do get a hybrid and you want to, well, it's a plug-in hybrid and you get the AC adapter, you'll want to get probably a level 2 charger.
Yeah.
Do all of them just work on, I know not except the Tesla, do all of them, are they all work on the same way?
The concept is the same, but it's like saying, do all phones work the same? Do all Android phones work the same? They all serve a function, but no, they are different. And level 2 chargers, I put that in quotes, they're actually just controllers, and the charging is done by a module in your car, which is actually a charger converting that AC to DC. So in concept, it's taking the AC from your home at 220 to 240, putting it through its controlling circuitry to make sure that the amperage isn't higher, that the voltage is correct and so on, and then sending it onto the car, which does the charging. But the next presentation is going to be on level 1 and level 2 chargers with an emphasis on level 2. And you'll see that there are some that are true access points and even have Wi-Fi for you to set up time of day you want to charge, things like that.
So in that presentation, I think it'll be important for you to give us some clues on what we should look for and how we should select a level 2 charger, because if we get our plug-in hybrid, like, do we just go on Amazon, look for level 2 chargers and buy one?
That's what I did. I had absolutely no idea. I went on price, and one of the slides is the one that I purchased. It's no longer available, but similar ones are.
Right.
And my electrician came, took a look at it. He says, yeah, I'll give you a 40 amp circuit.
Yeah.
And it worked. And it's set up for my PHEV, really. And it's really too low in amperage. If I had a true BEV here, it would charge much slower than I want. So if I go ahead and get a new fully electric car and charge it here at home, I'll probably replace that with a higher amperage charging unit.
Okay. Well, look forward to your next edition. This will be it'll be really important. The other question I have is for everybody. Diane, who is listening to our show today as she's driving along, sent me a note and said she has a question for us. And she wanted to know, she's looking for a good picture slideshow program that you can add music to the slides. It's Windows, and she needs to be free. So I guess I'm thinking about this, and I thought Google Photos would do that. I mean, if you had your images and you wanted to add some music to that, that would be an easy way of doing it in Google Photos. Does anyone have any suggestions on she's looking for a free, is there one in
Movie Maker? Movie Maker.
And it's part of Windows, isn't it?
That's correct.
Okay.
Windows has a new one called Clipchamp.
Okay, is that part of Windows 11?
It's part of Windows 11, but it's also available on Windows 10. But it's free.
Okay, and it's a pain to use.
Hey, Ron, you can do it in PowerPoint if she converts everything over.
Right, but that's assuming you have PowerPoint and and you have to purchase PowerPoint, right?
There's a program called FastStone that'll create scripts for you as well with a slideshow and music and everything.
Okay, Steve, what's the name again?
FastStone.
FastStone.
FastStone Viewer. The one I used to use was Polyview, but that one went by the wayside a few years ago, and FastStone is almost as good as that one.
Okay, well, that gives her a few suggestions, and certainly she says Windows, so I'm assuming that she has probably Windows 10 or Windows 11, so it's built in, so she can use either of those two that we mentioned.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
But I think Clipchamp is free. It's not paid. It's a free program.
But Clipchamp is hard to use, whereas Movie Maker is very easy to do.
Right.
Put it together and add music to it.
Okay. Good. There's a few suggestions. Diane, I know she's driving along on her iPhone. She's listening to our show, so she can't respond. But anyway, those are some suggestions for you. Bill, go ahead.
Yes, I have two questions for Mike Ungerman. First off, my wife the other day got to noticing that two charging stations near our house that we go by all the time. There's two cars that sit there pretty much continually. How do they regulate that so that they aren't hogging the spots? And my second,
Okay,
oh,
go ahead. I was to say there's very poor regulation right now. You know, old gas stations used to have service. You know, a person, an attendant would come out and pump your gas, clean your windshield, check your oil, etc. Now it's self-service, and if the pumps are occupied, you get in line and hope nobody jumps the line. Well, it's going to get that way. It is that way already in high states like California with a lot of EVs. And I one of the videos that I watched, it's on my playlist, they're complaining about that. You know, people will hog the space, people will jump the line. That's human nature. So there needs to be something. I don't know at the moment how they're going to do it. If the charging stations are open, you just go there and hope, fingers crossed, they're all working. But combine chargers that aren't working along with people who are rude, no control over it.
Bill, actually, if I could follow up on that, Mike, can I?
Sure.
Okay, Bill, there's a couple of issues there. When you go to charge, you have to put your credit card in, or you have to identify yourself. It's, you know, there's actually a little bit of, it's like getting gas at the pump, right? You got to put your credit card in and you got to pay for it. Well, particularly the Tesla chargers, you have only about 5 minutes to uncouple once you're fully charged. If you do not take it out, then you're charged an extremely high amount of money for standby charges if you haven't taken it out. In other words, you have to be there to physically disconnect that, or you're paying like a lot of money. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it is a big amount of money. So people are very paranoid at Tesla chargers because they don't want to get into that, because your credit card's in there and it's just billing you as that electricity is going in. And all of a sudden you get a 5-minute chance to disconnect. And if you don't disconnect and get out of there, then boom, you're getting, you know, you're getting a big bill, like a really big bill, right? So people don't do that at the Tesla chargers. The other ones is that most of the chargers now have apps, and you can actually book your time when you're getting close to that specific area you want to go. You can actually connect it and book your time in, and you can see how many people are ahead of you prior to reaching that charging spot. So it is a lot more organized than just helter-skelter. Okay, so and that's for the general. That's not Tesla, but that's the Android. So it depends on the charging stations and where you are. But there's a lot more organization than just everyone just arriving.
She was also wondering if you took your plug out and plugged it into another car, if it would go on your
credit do it
card.
You can't do it, because when you put that plug into your car to charge, you actually have to open the door and get in the car and push the button to release that. So no one can come and unplug it from your car. Like, no one can disconnect it. The only way you can disconnect that plug is to open your door, go in, and there's a switch, and you have to hit the switch, and that unlocks the plug.
I see. Huh. Okay, and my other question, Mike, was on the level 2 chargers. Is that basically like our old printers with a brick on the cord?
Well, again, if you look at the pictures, it shows a brick, and it's got an AC cord on one end. It's a pretty thick cord, and then at the other end you've got up to a 25 or 30-foot cable. Some of them are shorter, some are longer, and then you've got the plug that goes into your car. So it's a controller making sure that all the requirements of the car are met, and that you're not drawing more current than the car is saying it can accept, or that the cables can accept. Passing the 220 volt current into the car And then the car's own charger takes that 220 and turns it into DC and charges the battery.
Okay, so the car is actually converting it, not the brick.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
Great. Well, that's lots of questions, Mike, for you. I think we're just going to get into more and more questions. 1 in 7 cars now in the world are EVs sold, right? It is a big issue. So it's a topic that everyone's interested in. Thank you for doing it. Does anyone have any more questions? We've got about 5 more minutes. If anyone has any questions, we can certainly answer them. Otherwise, don't forget Tech for Senior this Friday. Or Thursday, sorry, Thursday, and the usual gang will be there, and we'll certainly look at all the tech news. There is so much tech news that we never get through all the articles, hey guys? It's amazing. Bernard, go ahead.
You are muted.
Bernard, you're muted.
Mike, this question's for you. When you hook up to a charger, does it give you any time frame on how long it takes to charge your vehicle?
Yes, both the EV itself on its displays will give you an estimate. It'll give you your level of charge starting. It'll tell you percent of charge so far. It'll tell you the kilowatt hours that it's receiving, and it'll give you an estimate to completion. Plus, if it's a commercial charging station, then depending on the network, slightly different displays for each network, it will actually give you an estimate of time spent charging, time to reach 80% or 100% as you wish. So it's giving you a pretty good status. So if
is that on the charging station or in your vehicle?
Both.
It's also on your phone as an app on your phone. You can see it on your phone as well.
It gives you an idea. If I'm low and I'm going into shop and I'm looking for a level 3 charger in a network, could be a Tesla, could be any other network, Electrify America, that whatever. Hopefully it's in a shopping center that I would normally go to, say Publix supermarkets here in Orlando. And I'd plug in and I'd know that it's telling me it's about 30 minutes to get to 80%, which is usually enough time for me to go in and get the groceries I want and get back out to the car and disconnect.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing, Bernard, is that you should be aware that Google Maps now has all the charging stations on Google Maps, and it gives you all the information, which ones are available, what the lineup is, how many people have you, all that now is available in Google Maps. They're all there. Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, I think a week ago or so, I asked Huey about using voice to create a form letter. And I just want to give an update of my experience. I was hoping, like in Word, you can have styles. And I was hoping there'd be a style for, asking a question and then 5 bullet answers or something. Well, it doesn't work that way, but that's my phone. Let me kill it. Any rate, what I found was that you can use the voice, but basically it helps you to create whatever form you want, but it's a 2 operation process. You say something and then you use your control, whatever you want to, tabs or whatever, and that works. So the voice does help. It's just not the ideal thing that I was anticipating, but I just want to give an update because Huey and I talked about it one time. I'm not sure, as long as I can remember, I've had a bad memory.
Thanks, Carl. Stu, go ahead. Unmute yourself. Stu, do you have your hand up? Stu Yorish?
This is for Mike. The plugs that come with the EVs, are they all standard so that they will all plug into some sort of station, or are they individualized like they are on phones and iPads and stuff like that?
There's three plugs today in the United States and Canada. One is the standard plug for all Teslas. I don't have the nomenclature. I will when we get into connectors. The other is the standard level, and then you've got the standard plug for the level 1 and level 2 charging, which is pretty much across all other EVs. There is an early EV. I think the Nissan Leaf is one of them. Had a unique plug, but in today's marketplace, and probably the last 2 or 3 years, they're all pretty much standard. And then when you go to your DC charging stations, your level 3 charging stations, the connectors are pretty much standard on those also.
Okay, well that's thanks, Mike. That's a wrap. I think we've done it for the day. We'll see everybody next week. Huey, did you have any parting comments or words of wisdom?
Yeah, I've been deciding whether I wanted to mention this or not, but I'll do it anyway. My car is a ℚ𝕠𝕟.
Hardly.
Yeah, it rolls down one hill and can hardly make it up the next.
That reminds me of my Volkswagen diesel in 1981.
All right.
On that note, I'll say goodbye to everybody.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you next week or on Thursday. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.